What a great time for me to be a part of tennis.
We gave you tennis, we gave you attitude, we gave you glamour, we gave you everything you wanted, and you criticized us for it. Now you're longing for it.
That's a final score. Chicago Bears 17, Tampa Bay 10. Those of you who've been watching that contest, welcome to the National Tennis Center. We have just gotten underway. This is the first point of the match.
Lendl looking at the lines, and that looked like he got a real bad call then.
But it was over the baseline. It wasn't
That's
wide.
what I thought, yeah.
Yeah.
Looked like it was about 4 or 5 inches over.
Good way to start.
Yeah.
15 love. The match just underway. Not lost a set in the 1983 U.S. Open. The last time that was done by a champion was in 1960 by Neil Frazier.
Connors has only lost 1 set, and that was to Krishnan in the first round.
He led 4-1 in that set, and he lost 2, I think. Of the two players, though, I feel that during the tournament, Lendl has had a better preparation than Connors. His quarterfinal match against Wilander, although he won in straight sets, was a really tough-fought match. Every point was a long point, and then his second set in the semi-final against Arias was really tough too, whereas Connors, he's been winning his sets much easier.
You notice something happened to Ivan Lendl. The second ball he hit in the warm-up, he broke a string. Had to go to another racket. Obviously, the one he had in his hand to start with would be the one he wanted to play with, so that's a little bit of bad luck.
30-15. The first game of the first set of the men's singles championship. Lendl will serve. Connors won the first game of the first set. That's a fault. Here is strength against strength. The big serve against the good return.
Fault.
Double fault.
Love 15.
First game of the match. Lendl mishit 2 forehands. That's his strength. He comes in with a serve, starts out with a double. I think he's a little tense out there.
Sure.
That'll help settle him down.
15 all.
Yesterday, Ivan had 11 aces and 15 service winners, meaning he could just barely get the racket on it, so he's serving beautifully.
Very fast forward. Temperature 95 degrees, humidity 40%. The wind at 18 miles an hour, and there is a chance still of thunderstorms. 30 all. Of course, as I mentioned earlier on court, it's considerably warmer than that. It was 107 earlier this afternoon.
Great point.
Second double fault by Lendl.
30, 40.
Maybe that wind of 18 miles an hour is bothering that toss.
That one did bring it down quickly. The ball was lower than he expected when he hit it.
Connors hasn't had to do a lot of running yet, but so far I don't see any notice of the toe being any problem, do you?
No, I don't. You know, that's only the 6th time that there is a thermometer again. It's over 100 degrees, just a fraction over. That's, of course, I'm sure it's hotter on that hard surface down there. It's only the 6th time Lendl's lost his serve in this tournament.
15 love.
Well, we saw him play up in Montreal, the Canadian Open, and Lendl just demolished Connors. 3 out of the last 5 matches. This is different.
30 love.
You like the call.
Very close. Her call.
1 foot you call close. You call the ball which is 1 foot in close.
No, I'm going with the call.
It's too close to overrule if it's only 1 foot.
1 foot? No, I thought it was
It's the second mistake that lady made.
keep an eye.
Ivan Lendl, the 6 U.S. Open matches. His first serve percentage 53.2, aces 54. Average match time just over an hour and a half. So he's been very efficient.
40 love.
I think that wind is tricky down there, Tony.
I no question about it. You got 18 miles an hour and you get in a stadium where it gusts, it moves around, it doesn't necessarily go in one direction. It can be very difficult. And the ball's hit hard, it's not so bad because it fights through the wind, but when it's hit more slowly, it can be blown around. You can see the flash at the top.
Deuce.
Shadow over almost half of the court. That's got to, until their eyesight gets attuned to it, and that could cause a little bit of trouble too with the wind.
There's that big shadow.
So you have shadows at Yankee Stadium, any big stadium.
Yep. They're not going to cancel the match.
Advantage, Lendl.
It really took a hop.
Yeah, and break point too.
Connors has defeated in his previous 4 championships.
It's on grass, and then on hard true, which is slow surface, and then on deco, this surface. So he's the only man to have won the U.S. Open on 3 different surfaces, and probably will always have that distinction, because in all likelihood they won't be moving around again.
Ball. Game, Lendl.
Lendl gets his break right back. Connors leads in the first set. Turning well.
30 love.
Third ace by Ivan. I don't know why. But the electronic device that's used to call the service line just let go its beep.
You hear what Lendl said?
No.
He said, what, should I go with a second serve now?
4 aces by Lendl.
40 love.
40 love. Trying to get even at 2. Players anxious, came out a little bit before they were supposed to. That's why you missed the first point of this game.
Game, Lendl.
2-2.
2-all.
Tony, the first point of the last game, I know you saw it too. The talking about the tape that he has around his toe. Certainly got some discomfort on it.
Right. He has a shoe cut, too, I believe, to take some of the extra pressure off. That's Mr. and Mrs. Hunter Delatour, the president of the United States Tennis Association. Very popular gentleman.
He is certainly one of the nice people you'll ever meet.
Love 15.
Connor's unusually there in that rally, a bit tentative on all his shots.
That's 10 straight points that Lendl's won. The time Jimmy was serving had 40 love.
15 all.
That's Connor's first base. Lendl took a long look, but not vocal about an injection, at least.
Probably angered himself for not going out to play the ball.
Tell me there wasn't some psychological play going on there. That was strength to strength.
Yeah, and you talked about the top of the show, Nuke, about Jimmy going into Lendl's forehand.
(40-15). 2-all first set. Two double faults now by Connors.
Last year when Connors went across to Lendl's forehand, got a backhand to forehand rally, Lendl kept going back to Connors' backhand. Feel today that he should get smart and not try to hammer it out, just go back down the line to Connors' forehand side.
Serve.
Get off the two-hander, in other words.
Well, if they're going cross-court to cross-court, I think Connors has got the better shot. Not by a lot, but he's got it.
Game Connors.
Game to Connors. He leads 3-2. It is love 15.
all.
It's tough to get constant good length in your rallies when you have this kind of a gusty day. It's just you can't rely on it that much. That wind changes.
30, 15.
Yeah, he's really thumping that first serve today.
Or is he?
That's almost 6 games played and nobody's come into the net yet. Hit a volley.
Ball.
What's that put the score at 1-all?
15.
Yeah.
In those type of rallies?
I don't think they can hit the ball any harder than that.
Starting to feel sorry for the ball.
Here's another look. And when Lendl hits a slow backhand, watch him start forward. He's on his way in already because he suspects that Connors might try a drop volley. A nice little short motion with disguise and place it perfectly down the line.
And as you were pointing out yesterday in his matching against Arias, a shot he didn't overplay.
Right. The secret there is you get your racket ready early with a short motion. Don't take it back very far and wait for your opponent to make his move. If he doesn't move, just go ahead and make your shot.
15 love.
Games are 3-all.
Love.
That's a tough shot for Jimmy when he gets a high ball up on the two-hander, because he goes under a little bit and has a tendency to float.
Wind like it is today, it'll float a little bit more.
Yep.
You can bet that Lendl would have picked that up too on that particular shot. That may find him when he's going across court in his forehand start to take a bit of pace off the ball and get a lot more spin on it to get that high bounce.
$30.
Lendl just served ace number 6 to the deuce court. He leads 15 love. This is the second point.
He's definitely not that comfortable when he gets pinned into the forehand corner, is he?
And when he gets his first serve in, it's pretty awesome, isn't it?
Right. He's very comfortable. Just seems like it's a type of play he's not used to. Didn't look like he was used to having that serve come back either.
That was a total shock, I think, when that ball came back. Diving return by Connors.
30 all.
First time Lendl has ventured up close to that net. Beat 3 seeded players to get here. Well, he's seeded number 2.
Pretty hard not to do that in the U.S. Open. Though Joe Dury got to the semis without having played a seeded player. Break point for Connors. You got to hand it to him. He took Lendl's best shot.
Here's Diane Sawyer.
Quiet, please.
Enjoys the game of tennis.
He took Lendl's best shot, the first serve, hit it, and then attacked after that. It's got to shake you up a little.
He made a good approach shot, too. He got it deep. It was down the middle of the court, so there was no angle. Lendl for the last 12 days playing his matches, and we've remarked so often on the big points how he puts in the big serve and just wins the point, and people haven't been getting it back.
15 love.
A shaky forehand return by Lendl. Not much of a stroke at all. Brought Jimmy forward. He took advantage of it.
Of last year, somewhere in Ivan Lendl's mind.
Well, psychologically, I'm sure, you know, he's hoping to get off to a better start than he did. He lost his first serve to get the break back, and now Connors has triple set point. Of course, losing the first set doesn't mean you're out of the match by any means.
Not at all.
First set. He's starting to get into it. He wins 6-3.
He is indeed. I've had the pleasure of playing some doubles with him. He carries me. First point. First game, second set.
Love 15.
Lendl thought the ball was out. In fact, he's sure of it.
No. I don't think he was that sure. He was looking over at feedback, I think.
Oh, he was? Well, when he gets that first serve in, it's scary.
Like it's scaring him at the moment, the way some of them are starting to come back.
That's true. That's his third double fault. He looks shaky 30. At the moment.
15, 30.
Back-to-back finals in previous years. Johnson, Tilden, Parker, Talbot. And now Connors and Lendl added to that list.
All. 40, 30.
Real good depth that time by Connors. These tennis balls are not the extra duty or heavier ball with more nap. They're a fast tennis ball. Whoops.
What happened there? Twice in a row, the ball just stopped. That had to be caused by the wind.
I think so. These balls, I guess you were just talking about, they're not a heavy-duty ball.
No.
They'd probably be affected more by the wind.
Yeah, they're lighter ball. A little more difficult to control. Break point for Connors.
We'll be back with more tennis action after this word from your local station. This was the first point, the last point, the point just played. Lendl, Connors at the net.
First serve.
Rifled it by.
Connors won the first game of the second set. He's serving at love 15 now.
That was only the first forehand winner by Lendl. We talk about his forehand as being his big weapon. So thus far, Jimmy hasn't given a chance to use it.
15 all.
Connors has 3 breaks. Lendl has only 1.
You can see Connors'
30,
confidence
15.
surging through him as this match is progressing. Nobody came to the net in the first 6 games of the match. Connors has started to come in more and more, and especially on the very important points.
Jimmy's won 3 of 5 points when he's gone to the net.
The Redskins beat Philadelphia 23-13. That's a final. Second Sunday of the NFL.
Now, Lendl's going to have to figure out something here. He's going to have to try to get to the net himself.
Cowboys 34, St. Louis 17, Cleveland 31, Detroit 26, Pittsburgh beat Green Bay 25-21. Buffalo over Cincinnati 10-6. Bengals just staggering.
They've lost their offensive coordinator to Jacksonville.
Game Connors.
Game Connors.
That's a nervous, frustrated smile right there.
Yeah, he wasn't laughing at anything funny.
Calls from the stands, please. Thank you.
He's going to have to figure out a way to get to the net, I think, Tony.
Well, one of the ways to come in behind your serve, you can certainly do that. Try to do it. Saw him do that at Wimbledon. He can serve and volley when he has to.
He's about in that situation right now. I have to.
He's only been in the net twice so far in this match. He's won both points.
Love 15.
With the wind swirling around like this, if your opponent gets into a good net position, it is very difficult to make passing shots.
And also, Lendl's mishit some balls. He mishit that ball, and with the big looping swing, he didn't mishit that one.
No.
15 all.
7 aces he's served up.
You have that big looping swing, and if you don't watch that ball closely, it's very easy to miss it. It's windy weather. I like the way Jimmy made that approach shot. That's the one that he has problems with from time to time. The one-hander coming in and going down the line with it, but he was very careful with it, got it in fairly deep, and was in a good volleying position. Lendl wasn't able to make the shot.
Oh! 15-40.
Double break point.
A lot of frustration in Ivan Lendl's game at the moment. He's not sure how to exactly win points out there at the moment.
Well, he's under a lot of pressure.
Well, he's playing a guy that's returned his serve extremely well, excluding the 7 aces that Lendl's served thus far. He's not used to having all those big ones come back.
$30-40. Deuce.
Good pull out there by Lendl. He's only serving 39%. First serves in, so obviously that's very low. Seems to be Nuke, he's got that toss back a little bit now. He's not throwing it forward like he usually does.
Wind may be blowing it back there.
Maybe.
Advantage Connors.
And he placed it beautifully deep in the corner. And again, got into a good volleying position. Another break point for Connors. Third one in this game.
Ball.
He definitely threw that one back behind his head.
Oh, good shot.
Well, I think that's what it's going to take if Lendl wants to win this championship. He's going to have to be brave and come to the net. He's not going to win it from the baseline. He's been winning his other matches from the baseline, but if he stays back, Jimmy's just going to be all over the net. And he's playing his approach shots so well at the moment.
Advantage Lendl.
Important game for Lendl if he wins this. He's been down these break points because he could have been down 2 service breaks in this second set. That's a lot.
Connors won the first set, 6-3.
Game Lendl.
Well, he digs himself out of a hole, and it's 2-1 Connors in the second. Connors won the first set 6-3. He leads 2-1 in the second, and he's about to serve. Double fault.
Love 15.
3 by Connors. Love 15. Connors with 51% of his first shot. That's sort of low for him.
Lendl is 32%.
All.
There's another look. You see when Lendl comes in, he thinks he's going to be all set for a volley. He's down, ready to go bingo. Look out, I can't recover in time, and it falls in. Sick feeling when you're a tennis player.
All you can do is look.
That's all.
15-30.
That was one of the cleanest forehands that Lendl's hit so far in the match.
Takes that big swing. Maybe getting more used to the wind, maybe.
Jimmy's always rushing you, too. He doesn't give you much time. Players talk about playing Connors. It is tough. He's the toughest competitor. Doesn't give you anything. Missed it.
15-40.
15-40.
Double break point for Ivan Lendl.
Bill Scanlon said after he played Connors, he said, "You just never let me play my game."
Yep. Never felt like he got in the match.
Repeat of the first set. In the first set, Connors went to 2-love and 40 love on his serve. Finished up at 2-all. This time he had 2-love from 15-40 on Lendl's serve.
Up. 15-love.
I have a feeling this thing's going to stay close. You know, it's going to be a seesaw battle. It's not going to be any blowout.
30-love.
Yeah, but I get the feeling at the moment that Lendl's not convinced he's going to win the match. Whereas Connors is thinking he's going to win the match. That could change around. A psychological barrier to overcome that he has never won a Grand Slam tournament.
This is that previous point. Lendl just standing there as Connors rifles that two-hander down the line. He's been going cross-court with it a great bit of the time. Sure, it has to be. That has to be in the back of your mind. Martina finally broke that jinx here at the Open yesterday.
Yeah, but she's won Grand Slam titles before.
It's true.
30-all.
I know Martina is much relieved to have finally won the U.S. Open.
Well, she won the doubles title today earlier with her partner Pam Shriver.
Of course, she is now an American citizen but came from Czechoslovakia. If Ivan Lendl wins this, we will have had both the men's and women's singles champions born in Czechoslovakia.
40-30. First serve. Ball.
That's a great shot.
You can't cut it much finer than that either.
Deuce.
We'll show that to you one more time. And Lendl coming out of that forehand corner. You see, he's on the dead run, so he can't stop. He can only hope. Look at that baby. Looked like it hit both lines,
Both
didn't
lines, yep.
it? Deuce.
Advantage, Lendl.
Approximate speed of that serve from Lendl was 103 miles an hour. That's approximate.
I'm sure Connors thought that one was in. He started to walk. He quickly held his ground.
What did you say? What?
Second serve. One with the ball.
That ball was inside that line.
Let's look at it.
Looks like it was smack on the line, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
The umpire will not overrule a linesperson unless he feels or she feels it is obvious.
Advantage Lendl.
Deuce.
Well, that could be a pretty important point as time develops.
Sure could.
Connor's taking a little extra time going to the towel.
Did that against Scanlon.
Missed that one.
Advantage, Lendl.
Jimmy trying to go in behind Lendl again. We didn't catch that one solidly, cleanly, and just missed it wide. Imagine how unbearable it would be down there if there was no breeze.
Well, earlier today, as we said, it was 107 on the court. Not quite that hot now.
Ball.
That's long. Lights are on, so as it does get darker, it won't be such an adjustment for players.
Game, Lendl.
That one caught the line. Game to Lendl. He leads 3-2 second set.
It's very hard to make up that kind of loss during the match per se, and I think this has been a very important factor in the conditioning of these players is to take this fluid in well in advance of the match.
Back to play.
Love 15.
All right, Pat, thank you very much. Lendl leads 3-2 in the second set. Connors won the first set 6-3. Attendance 20,575. That's all it will hold.
First serve.
18,430 paid, but I don't see any empty seats.
Love 30.
Bill Scanlon, who had such an outstanding tournament, has joined us in the booth. Congratulations, Bill. I know you'd like to be playing, but it's great to have you.
It would be nicer to be out there, but this is not such a bad vantage point right here.
No, it's not bad.
Not too bad.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Connor serving love 30.
Love 40.
Triple break point.
Bill,
he just comes right at you, doesn't he?
It seems to be just how I felt yesterday.
Doesn't give you a lot of time, does he, on his shots?
It takes it so early that it just forces you before you even see it coming.
And one of the few times
30, 40.
Connors has followed his serve into the net. Lendl didn't make him volley. Still a break point.
Bill Scanlon, if you had it to do again,
Lendl
what would
leads
you do
4-2.
differently against Connors?
Well, if I had to, first off, I'd like to have another shot at the, my first time in the semifinals. I was a little bit nervous right from the beginning.
I can imagine.
But getting into the match, like Lendl's doing now, just taking the offensive and starting to dictate the points instead of letting Connors run him all around the court like it was earlier.
First serve.
Bill, I felt that you were having problems serving. Percentage-wise, you didn't get a lot of first serves in. It looked to us like your first serve, the toss might have been a little bit low. Did you feel that way?
It could have. That's generally what happens when I do serve badly. It gets, it doesn't vary so much. It just comes down a lot, and it makes it tough to get up over the net and into the court. It's an interesting shot.
See, yeah.
How about not one you practice a lot, is it?
Not on the tennis court.
Just the last couple of games, I got the feeling that Lendl is slowly starting to believe that he could win this match.
Probably a very important game, that two-love game in this set.
15-40.
15-40, coming back to win it.
Love 30.
Love 30.
Did you have the feeling, Bill, watching the first set, that Lendl was very sort of nervous and uptight and didn't really believe in himself yet?
I think that's possible. This is he had that problem last year. I think in this match, he never really, was nearly so strong as he had been in the semis, and maybe today's the same. Doing a lot better now.
First time Lendl has served and volleyed.
15-30.
The jugs gun, which helps us to get the approximate speeds of the serves, said that one was 103 miles an hour. There's one he's not expecting back up there.
That's the thing we remarked on, Bill, that this
15,
return of
40.
serve that not many people can do effectively, and of course this great shot from Connors on the run. But the fact that Lendl puts in those big serves, gets so many free points, but against Connors is drilling them back if he gets onto it.
And Connors hits that so offensively that oftentimes it can set up the second shot, like you just saw there. The first volley wasn't quite as strong as it would have been if Connors' return had been a little weaker, and
30,
in this
40.
way he's getting a much, sort of a better setup for his second shot.
That was the 8th ace by Lendl, but it's still break point. It's long.
It's got to be a first for U.S. Open final.
Well, Well, Tony and I were talking before, Bill. I think this is either our 11th or 12th final. It's a first for us. I mean, it's broadcast. It's a participant.
Connor's been there a few times.
15 love.
Now you got Lendl, got to say, holy Moses, I'm sitting there all this time. He serves me a second serve, and I mishit it. Same fella.
15 off.
Here's another look. Short ball. In comes Connors. Not really a deep approach shot. Lendl hit it beautifully with good top. You see Connors is nowhere near it. Come back live. 15 all.
Another miss hit.
15-30.
Connors has won the title 4 times. He's seeded number 3 this year.
See Lendl move up to this ball, and it's the
40.
preparation as he comes up to it. Connor's a bit unlucky here. He hits this volley, it hits the tape, but watch Lendl's preparation as he comes up to it. Kept well down. Great shot.
That's the kind of ball that Lendl goes straight at the opponent sometimes. I think Jimmy thought that might happen. Double break point.
Lendl leads 5-3.
What is the exact rule here if Jimmy has to leave the court again?
According to Mike Blanchard, that's the end of the match. He can only do it 1 time.
Can he call for something on court at the change of ends?
I don't know. What do you call for?
Forward to John. Okay, Lendl serving 5-3 second set. Connors won the first set 6-3.
Love.
Four service breaks apiece.
30 love.
9 aces for Ivan Lendl.
I think, as John said earlier, Lendl's starting to believe in himself a little bit more here in his show.
63 aces Lendl served in this tournament.
That's a shot that Connors has been hitting pretty well today. A lot of times he'll hit that forehand down the line.
9-1 is the ace edge for Lendl.
What do we got on percentage of first serves? The difference though at the moment.
We got a man that'll get it for us in just a second. The Wizard.
Oh! 40-15.
Double set point for Lendl. Lendl's serving 36% at the moment. Jimmy's serving 57%. Which Jimmy figures the server a higher percentage because he doesn't go after the first serve as much. He just tries to move it around, tie the other guy up with it.
At 36 is very low for Lendl. I feel he may be trying for a bit too much in the wind.
Lendl was trying to take a little pace off that backhand.
Still set point.
Got to be the pressure of the times, because Lendl normally is much more aggressive on those ground strokes. When he starts getting in trouble, he really goes after him. He would steered those last couple of balls, carried him over the baseline. 2 set points saved by Connors.
Tightened right up.
Advantage, Connors.
Patty Connors. Mrs. Jimmy.
And you know, it's been a time for Lendl for the serve and come in a couple times, make Jimmy do something right away. He might have gotten away with it. Now he's in trouble. Down by the point.
Second set.
Love.
I guess Ivan Lendl is answering what we were talking about a while ago. He has not yet decided that he can win this match. Having a big psychological battle with himself at the moment.
Like 2 different players.
30 love. First serve.
Talked about Lendl's forehand. So far, he's only hit 2 winners and made 12 errors. Yesterday, he had 15 winners and 12 errors. Not letting him use that big weapon at all.
Oh, that is what he did to him last year.
Love.
I think he's taking his eyes off the ball, and with that big swing and that ball moving around, being buffeted around a little bit, and just not looking at it, and as a result, mishitting.
Billy Scanlon sitting on the left here, Pat. He and I had a discussion about something after his match the other day about why he wasn't moving his feet. Do you think the same thing's happening down there, Bill, at the moment?
I thought in the beginning it could have been, but, you know, when he got up 5-3, I thought he was rolling pretty well. We were talking about the nervousness and how it affects the footwork, and
15
not really getting in position to hit the shots. But,
wait, please.
You know, certainly he had it together to get up those set points. I don't know what would be happening right now.
one story to get up to the line, and it's
15
another
all.
to cross it. And that's what he's asking himself the question now.
Give Jimmy Connors some credit. He is causing a lot of this to happen.
30, 15.
That's a pretty good return off a big serve.
30 all.
Twice he's caught Lendl inside the baseline with crackerjack returns, and he's had to try to volley, and he's missed both volleys.
Not nearly ready.
Unforced forehand errors.
$40, 30.
Approximate speed 117 miles an hour on that last first serve by Lendl.
Lendl leads 6-5, second set.
This is Connors serving at 5-6, second set, and coming to the net.
Love 15.
Serving with new balls. $15
all.
Might be looking at a tiebreaker coming up here.
Crowd would love it. Now, if anybody should be wearing a CBS hat, it would be Walter Cronkite, wouldn't it?
You know what he's saying, man, why can't I do that?
He does enjoy playing.
That was just an unbelievable shot. I saw Jimmy after he hit that shot. He went to raise his hands in the air. He thought, well, I better make not make too much movement. The problem I got at the moment.
All.
If Jimmy's stomach disorder continues, this set is very, very important, isn't it?
I would think so.
2 sets to love or a set all.
Every swing is very important.
First serve.
Lendl's got to be mad at himself because he was just trying to block that backhand back reasonably deep, not trying to do much with it at all. amazing how quiet the big crowd gets in this tension.
Yeah.
It's kind of a situation you can just cut it with a knife.
Well-played point from Lendl. He kept cool under pressure.
Advantage, Lendl.
Took his time with the lob, which was an excellent one up into the wind.
It's also set point for Lendl.
Do you think he'll serve and volley again?
Oh, no.
Go for the wide one out to the backhand?
I don't think so. I think he'll stay back. We'll find out.
Only ace number 2 for Connors.
Not a bad time to serve it. Went for the wide one to the forehand.
Quiet, please.
Two-hander really nailed that Vi. Look at him. Look at him. And the crowd loves it.
Carson and everybody else loving it. What a great point.
Tiebreak.
Take a look at how these players have handled this at last point again. In 1983, Connors has played in 12 tiebreakers and won 10 of them, 83%. Lendl played in 29 of them and won 17, so it's 59%. Jimmy's played one tiebreaker in this tournament, won it. Lendl's played in 2 and won both of them.
And now we start another one.
Lendl thought it was out.
He still thinks it was out. First player to get 7 points wins the tiebreaker if they win by a margin of 2.
Tough time for Lendl now to regain his composure. He thought Jimmy's shot was out over the baseline.
Great return from Lendl because Connors coming off that last game where he hit 2 tremendous winners. Doubtful call there. It's easy to get down on yourself and throw away a point.
1-1.
Two pigeons just flew over, flying in the stadium.
Can't find a seat.
Connors.
Just going back, Tony, that set point that Connors saved, that was an unbelievable serve because Connors hardly ever goes for the big flat serve.
That's right.
To do it at that time took a lot of courage.
And to pull it off.
2-all.
Connors won the first set.
Lendl just serving 39% of first serve.
3-2, Lendl.
That's his 11th ace. 3-2 in the tiebreaker. Change in.
4-2, Lendl.
Oh, there were some tough shots in that point. Lendl just rocketed a forehand, and Jimmy got down low and knocked it right back. And really probably the easiest shot of that point was the one he missed at the end, perhaps pressing a little bit. Connors serving at a 59% clip first serves. 2-4.
Second serve.
Well, a surprise by Connors coming in behind the second serve, and he really had a pretty easy volley.
Yeah, you wouldn't have thought this was going to be 5-2 after Connors led 1-love in a mini service break. Won 5 of the next 6 points.
Lendl can serve out this second set if he can win these 2 points. Wide.
6-2, Lendl.
Connors banged the ball with his head.
It's called using your head.
Little soccer.
It was good.
Take another look now. Jimmy goes out wide and misses that shot. Here he goes.
It's a pretty good shot.
Yeah, but you know, when you think about it, you know, it's maybe not a sensible thing to do, because if you misjudge that thing, hit you in the eye or something in a championship match. Set point. 4 of them for Lendl.
Second set in a tiebreaker. Tiebreaker score 7-2. And sets are 1-all. Connors will start the third set serving.
And as you said earlier, this is what it's all about.
Sure. Day number 13.
Love 15.
Now Jimmy came up hobbling just a little bit that time when the ball went past him. The little toe on his right foot is hurt, sprained. He was unlucky. He hit it with his own tennis racket in a match yesterday.
He hurt it actually against Elliot Telscher in an earlier match, and then aggravated it yesterday.
Bill Norris, the trainer, also told me that Lendl has a strain sort of in the front of his right hip that he's been treating, and also a strained ankle, neither of which are bothersome enough to have an ill effect on his play, but they are things that Bill Norris has been working on with him.
First serve.
I think you're going to get little injuries on this hard surface moving around and play a 3-hour match. A lot of wear and tear on the knees and the ankles.
$15, $30.
6 out of 10. Points won for Lendl when he's come to the net. 10 out of 19 for Connors.
$15, $40.
Double break point.
Lendl gets his break in the first game of the third set. Men's singles final. Ivan Lendl serving. Sets are 1-all. Lendl won the first game of the third set.
$15 love.
Head-to-head records. Connors had had 10-3. But Lendl's won 3 of the last 5 that they've played.
Hunter Delatour, USTA president.
Starting to get a bit more confidence in his forehand driving ability now. He finally started to drive the ball down the line.
And a little smoother in his attempt, too. He seems to be a little bit more relaxed.
30-15. Tough to win a point, I know that.
Yeah, you watch them in the rallies, but they both hit terrific shots, and geez, they come back like cannon shots. That's the kind a player hates to miss. A second serve that wasn't that much on the serve. Guy that returns as well as Jimmy does. Placed that baby in the corner, didn't he?
That's breakfast, lunch, and dinner for him.
Yep.
That's the kind of serve that Lendl is not used to seeing come back to him.
Now it's break point for Connors.
First serve.
He's seen them come back before, but not as hard and as deep.
Right.
or as frequently.
Right.
We're back on serve.
1-1 third.
Well, that was a hard-fought game there.
Really tough. Great final. Great crowd on hand. And they are certainly being entertained.
They're not playing what you call pity-pat tennis, are they?
I can't remember Lendl going cross-court in his backhand in the match yet for a passing shot when Connors has been in at net.
I've always felt that's the book on Ivan Lendl. On the backhand side in forehand, he passes down the line large majority of the time. Good shot.
15 all.
It's only the fourth forehand winner by Lendl. We're in the start of the third set. That's unusual because he usually hits more than that.
This is like a heavyweight bout, this one.
That looked sort of casual, too, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
Well, we remarked in his semi-final match against Arias how he prefers to hit the ball down the line off the forehand or the inside-out forehand rather than hitting it across court. It is a much more potent weapon when he goes down the line or hits it off.
They went cross court that time.
Yep. With some authority.
40.
And
15-40.
Double break point.
This would be 3 breaks in a row. Connors playing against Telscher the other day, there were 8 breaks in a row.
Telscher doesn't serve like Lendl does. Let's see if Lendl tries to tee off on one.
Connor's limping just a little bit. Game to Lendl. He leads 2-1 in the third.
Quiet, please. Love 15. Love 30.
the man who began our company, William Paley.
Triple break point.
$15.40.
Called good.
Twelfth ace by Lendl. Still double break point. Boy, it seems to me that toss is even getting higher right now.
But it's not as windy as it was earlier.
It's true.
Today.
It's like hitting overhead smashes all the time. That ball's dropping. Still a break point. Here's a second look. Let you be the judge. Awfully close. We come back 30-40.
Up the line again.
Yep.
Well, the shot that set it up was the little dink before that.
Here comes Jimmy. I don't think Ivan knew he was coming in there. I think he was a little surprised. Not a lot of pace on the volley. But Lendl still made a terrific shot to level at deuce.
He leads 2-1 third set.
One of the previous two-handed volleys, Jimmy hit, clipped the net and bounced over, and he ended up losing the point. And that one caught the tape and fell back. Lendl ran off 5 points in a row.
Lendl leads 3-1.
Long-time tournament official Mike Blanchard is sitting in the booth with us. He has been throughout the tournament. Mike, what is the rule if Jimmy Connors should have to ask to leave the court again?
Yes, Pat. He is not allowed to leave the court again. A ruling was made this morning by Ken Farrar, the Grand Prix supervisor. He knew at the time that Jimmy had a case of diarrhea and that this might come up, and he made the ruling that he could go once. That's all.
Love.
Thank you very much, Mike. Connors serving. Down 1-3 in the third. Sets her 1-all.
Like to circle the wagons.
Perfect. 30-15.
Nuke, as you mentioned earlier, Lendl's starting to make more good shots down the line off both wings, and that's a sign that he is relaxing more and obviously gaining in confidence. Points at the net. Connors has won half of them. Lendl 7 of the 11 he's been there.
It was a lucky break for Connors. Had a bad
40,
break
15.
In the last game. See the ball as it hits the top of the net. He keeps trying to catch Lendl on the wrong foot, doesn't he, as Lendl's moving across court. Swing around in this match happened in the second set with Connors leading 2-love and 15-40 on Lendl's serve. Lendl won 5 of the next 6 games.
Talking about momentum in sports.
Game Connors.
Connors holds service. Lendl still leads 3-2 third set. Won the second, and he leads 3-2 in the third and serving.
We've already had 3 service breaks in this set.
Love 15.
Jimmy doesn't like the call. Here's another look. You be the judge.
$15 all.
30, 15.
Jimmy will use a thing like that to get himself fired up, too.
And the crowd.
Right. Work his advantage sometimes.
Those returns kept getting shorter and shorter.
Yep.
The wind has come up again.
That one forehand into Connors' two-hander made Jimmy jam that right foot down, and again he came up a little gingerly.
Game Lendl. Lendl leads 4-2.
4-2 Lendl. Nuke, I know this match is being broadcast live back to Australia. Good friend of ours we'd like to send good wishes to, Jack Newton, who unfortunately, as you probably know, walked into an airplane propeller. An awful lot of friends here.
Love 15.
It sure has. That was the first thing everybody at CBS asked me when I came over to the States. A lot of concerned people and very good friends of Jack's.
And not just golfers, people in sports. I read it and was sick about it. Never had the privilege of meeting him, but certainly want to join in wishing him all the best.
Oh. 15 all.
Two hours and 2 minutes. They've been at it.
30-15.
Jimmy is coming up and hobbling more and more on each point now. See that cut on the right shoe there? He's trying to, I'm not sure what he's trying to do, but it just hurts when he pushes off the right side, that right toe, little toe on his right foot really hurts him.
Anticipation from Connors, because that's the first cross-court passing shot off Lendl's backhand side. Maybe we'll have a look at Connors as he comes in here and see how he anticipates it. Yeah, he didn't really move to the down-the-line one.
He just waited, really, in the center. But when he sees that ball coming, he closes toward the net to meet it and get it higher when he can, and that was really beautifully done. 40-15.
That's wide. Hold. We'll be back with more tennis action after this word from your local station. Lendl leads 4-3 in the third. Sets are 1-all. We're a little anxious with that one.
15 off.
Not a bad try. We talked about mixing things up.
Not a play that he does a lot either,
No.
Jimmy, on the serve, anyway, on the return of serve.
Might do it on the two-hander once in a while when he really rips one and sees he's hurt him.
When Lendl has time to set himself up on that backhand passing shot, he really hits it effectively.
Yeah, and that Jimmy's approach was not a good one that time. Jimmy taking a little extra time, making Lendl wait.
First serve.
She was not the person that made that call. It was a baselinesman.
That's who he's talking about.
Yeah, but we showed a gal. That's the gentleman that Jimmy has been jawing at. 40-15.
For an NFL update, let's go to Brent Musburger in New York. Okay, Brent, Jimmy Connors serving at 3-5, third set. It's a 1-all.
15 left.
Connors serving in the third set, 69% of his first serves.
That's about where he normally is.
30-15.
Connors holds serve here. It should be a pretty interesting game, the next one. Lendl serve for the second set at 5-3 and 40-15. Got very tentative and lost the game.
$40-15.
It's 5-4. 60 minutes will come along following tennis. Those of you expecting to see it, this obviously is going to run longer than 7 o'clock Eastern time.
15 love.
Well, Lendl just barely finished his follow-through on that serve, and the return was by him.
Well, this is a key game for Connors because with that little bit of an injury to his foot on the little toe, and the other problem that he's had, he doesn't want to get down 2-1. It's going to be an awfully long way back.
And if you joined us late, he already had to leave the court one time. And the ruling is that that's all he...
Because he has dysentery. It's an unfortunate situation for him.
He pulled up sharply on that, and seems to be having trouble now on his forehand, Tony, when he pivots around as he hits the ball. It's causing a motion, I guess, an irritation to the toe.
Yeah, I would think anytime you pivot and have your weight on that foot, that's, you know, it's got to hurt.
It's 30 all. Great point for Connors.
Lendl playing just a little tentatively again when he gets in the position to win the set. Not attacking. We felt in the second set that he should have attacked and moved to the net when he led 40-15, 2-set points. Instead, he chose to play cautiously and lost the game. But you got to hand it to Connors. When he's in trouble, he only knows one way to play, doesn't he?
My game, he says, just keeps coming at you.
Comes out slugging harder.
A lot of heart in that game.
Missed it long, Deuce. Terrific return to serve. I'm sure these spectators see that Jimmy's limping some, and yet still going for broke. They love it.
That's a great return.
Now it's set point for Lendl.
Looks a little bit more confident in the face now than he did an hour ago.
False. Nerves.
Deuce.
Definitely the psychological inner battle continues. He's won a lot of tournaments, Ivan Lendl, but never a Grand Slam. But he fought those demons off in the second set, didn't he?
Yeah.
And that tie-break, he played superbly.
Main demon is at the other end.
There's a double fault situation.
Sweat on the court there, and I wouldn't be surprised he's thinking, I'll just make Ivan wait a little and have a little bit more of a thought, a bit more of a think about the situation that he's in.
Lendl didn't know he was coming. He waited a second, as you said, Pat. Lendl hits under the ball, just trying to float it deep. And when Jimmy gets in, you see Lendl's never come out of the backhand corner. Good call, Patrick. That little hesitation made Lendl think he wasn't coming, so, well, I'll just chip it back deep. Break point.
Quiet, please.
5-5.
The stadium on fire. Take a look. Lendl drives one, makes a good volley, and watch out for the two-hander. Good preparation. And he had this huge crowd on their feet. Whoa.
Shot and good concentration from Lendl then, because this crowd's getting so pumped up there, starting to try to make the calls themselves.
Lines people have been changed. There's a different base linesman, so when Jimmy looked over, he realized there was a different. That gentleman was not there when those other close calls were made. Feels the tension, obviously. I got to say it again. I think the lines people here have done a fantastic job. It is a tough job and no-win situation, and I salute all of them, men and women. They've been...
30-15.
This tournament keeps getting more and more successful every year, not just in terms of number of people. The USTA is to be congratulated one more time.
First serve.
And their tournament director, Bill Talbert, Bob Howe, the referee. Everyone involved done a great job. There's Bill Talbert, a great guy, great friend, and a great friend of tennis.
We've seen that happen a few times.
Not very much today, though. That shot has been exceptionally good for him today. He has missed a couple in this third set. I think missed a couple long, and then that one into the net.
60 minutes following tennis.
Going to have to wait a while.
Yep, looks like it. Of course, on the West Coast, you'll see that it's regular time.
Off the hook there. I got to figure 98% of the time Jimmy would have hit that short, high two-hander cross court and just ripped it. We'll take another look.
Why do you think he hesitated on it and didn't go cross court?
I think the wind blew it away from him.
Well, in Washington, I think he thinks Lendl's going to go cross court too. He did get trapped a little bit. Now Jimmy can't put this smash away, and Lendl's back in the point, and then really makes a poor error right here. So Connor's serving at 40-30, 5-all, 30 sets are 1-all.
Connors leads 6-5.
It's got to be a little bit difficult to see right now. It's sort of that dusky period where the lights don't really take full effect.
Started in, went back.
Well, that was a big point, too.
These are all big right along here.
You think he went for that shot as a winner, or he just got away from him a bit?
I think he was going for a winner, or at least he'd hoped it'd be a winner. Just barely missed it. He wasn't just trying to keep it in play.
Lendl a little heavy-legged running to that ball?
You were saying before, in the last court change, you thought he sat down rather heavily.
I don't think his muscles would be tired, but he might have been just running out of a bit of adrenaline. Feeling the pressure, no doubt about it. And you can go through a match like this that has had so much pressure in it. You can go through a period where you just get a little bit down on your adrenaline, and you've got to fight your way through that period. Well, force yourself to go.
From serving at 5-3 for the third set, Ivan Lendl is now down double set point, 15-45-6, third set.
One difference between the two players on the very big points. Connors can't wait to get to the net and make the other guy hit the passing shot. Lendl on these big points is sitting back there a little bit. You win US Open titles. People don't give them to you.
Connors 7-5 in the third, and he leads now 2-1.
Fourth set, Connors to serve. Quiet, please.
Well, we have a second tonight to congratulate Flo Blanchard, Mike's wife, who received the Service Bowl Award, and that is for service to the game of tennis for many, many years. And Flo has done that so well, done so much for the game.
That's long.
15 love.
And that's long.
15 all.
What do you think, Tony? You think Lendl can pull out of this little bit of a slump he's in at the moment?
If he's going to stay in the match, you better keep it together right here early in this set. If he gets behind, to steamroll.
Oh, 30-15.
Let's take this. Is a marvelous shot. That ball is right inside the baseline. That's not just getting it back. He hit it so deep and so hard that Lendl couldn't handle it. Super shot by Connors. That's why these people love him so much. He grunts, he dives, he runs and scratches, and wears his feelings on his shirt sleeve.
30 all.
I still got to say that foot is going to be a question mark.
That hurt him. He's in pain right now.
You bet. And that's the thing. If he hurts it worse or it gradually gets worse, he's going to be less effective. May make him try to rush and end points more quickly.
I think he's already started to do that.
Yeah. But yet it's been hurting him, and he fights his way out of a 3-5 situation and wins the set 7-5. 4 games in a row he ran off.
30 all.
40-30. Game Connors.
Game to Connors. That ball is just out.
Connors leads 1 love.
He wins the first game of the fourth set.
Love.
If Lendl's going to win this match, I think that is the key. He's got to serve better.
There's no doubt about it. At this stage of the match, Lendl is having a little bit of problem with leg fatigue. He's not on his toes after in the middle of the rallies, standing a little flat-footed. See that shot that he ran to there? He got to the ball and his leg muscles just didn't hold him in place properly for his body weight.
We were talking about yesterday how he glides to the ball. Final score, Miami 34, New England 24.
Don Shula does it year after year, doesn't he?
First serve.
Remind you once more that after tennis, you'll see 60 minutes.
15-40.
Double break point for Connors. And Lendl is definitely slowed down, whether he's exhausted or frustrated.
Well, you know, he hadn't lost a set.
Still a break point, and a big one indeed.
Let's quickly go one more time to Pat O'Brien. Okay, Diane, thank you. And Pat.
Lovely lady.
That is case number 4 by Connors.
15 love.
She made a pretty astute judgment there of the match, didn't she?
Sure did. Where is this coming from?
His heart.
30 love.
I wonder when the last time Jimmy served 2 aces in a row.
Guarantee a long time. Another good serve.
Of course, this is great for his foot. Get some cheap points. You know, where he doesn't have to run and work. That's really got to help him a lot.
Those of you who joined us late, this is the men's singles final, U.S. Open of 1983. Jimmy Connors is ahead 2 sets to 1 and leads 2-love in the 4th. Then serves.
First time Lendl's tried that.
40-15.
Taking the Connors second serve and coming in behind it. We'll see if he tries to do that more frequently.
The Raiders beat Houston 20-6. That's the final. Connors taking his time.
Lendl wants this one badly. Got to get a service break back. Connors leads 3 games to love, 4th set.
And we'll be back with more tennis action.
Super effort from Connors.
15-love.
What do you think Lendl has to do to get back now? I think he's got to get his psyche all straightened out, you know. He's got to play through this feeling of fatigue that he has. Physically, he's capable. I think mentally it's got hold of him.
Got to serve better.
Just that type of shot is a mentally tired shot.
But you watch Jimmy's feet. His foot hurts him and everything else. He's got to be tired too and feeling it, but those feet keep pounding in that once that ball's in play. He keeps those feet moving. He gets inside that baseline whenever he can to take the ball early and punish the other guy, get it back on him real quickly.
That's sort of the point I'm talking about, playing through your mental psyche, where you're feeling pain, you're feeling exhaustion. You've got to shrug it off.
Lendl's made 33 unforced errors. Connors 25.
Can't help but wonder what this could do to Lendl if he doesn't win. He's only 23, of course. Got a lot of time, but he has yet to win a Grand Slam event.
Well, you heard what Martina said yesterday after she won it. Off my back, off my back. Lendl's got to feel a little bit the same way.
And, of course, people remind him of it. He reads about it. He hears about it all the time. Martinez, I don't have to answer those questions anymore.
I don't think it's the fact of whether he wins or loses to Jimmy in this match. But the point is that he had a set all 5-3 and set point, and suddenly, boom, 7 games in a row and maybe 8 coming up.
Deuce.
You could say that this is a must-win game for Lendl. This one right here. He gets behind 2 breaks. He's in real trouble.
Another break point for Jimmy. Lendl looks a little bit distraught, trying to stay calm, but got to be frustrated.
Saved one.
Well, Connors is mad at himself for that because he knows at this particular time in the match he has his man on the ropes. Why let him out with an unforced error?
Of course, Jimmy's always going after it, you know. I mean, whatever position the court is, he really nails it. That's what he calls his game. Third break point this game. Remember the interview, the soundbite with Jimmy? He said, I'm going to be aggressive. I'm going to be coming at him. He's going to have to pass me. I'm going to have to pass him a lot. We're probably going to kill each other in the process, but it's going to be fun.
He's done exactly what he said he was going to do.
Well, that's all he knows. You know, it doesn't matter if he's on clay or playing on molasses. He's going to hit as hard as he can and come at you. Trouble.
Well, 2 minutes. 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 2 min
easy put away here for Connors as he came up to it, but it was set up by the shot before. You can see Lendl flat-footed at the net, not running over, or it wasn't a good volley from him anyway.
Drop volley hit just inside the service line.
Drop volley lob.
Al Lendl doing the knee bends, the squats, trying to get something going. Jimmy Connors in command with 2 breaks, serving at 4-love, 4th set, and he leads 2-1.
Love 15.
Just the incredible thing about sport, isn't it? How it can change
so quickly.
It's also a great lesson for the youngsters. Hang in there. Don't quit.
Jimmy won that last game. He held up 2 fingers.
And I got 2 more to go.
2 more to go. He did that last year.
I'm not so sure how much gas he's got left. He's holding it all together, but he'd sure like to end it very quickly.
I think Connors looks in better shape than he did at the end of the 4th set last year.
He does too, except for his foot. Following tennis. One more reminder, 60 minutes and the rest of the CBS schedule for tonight.
Boy, Jimmy picked that backhand cross court, as we mentioned. Lendl been going down the line an awful lot.
40-15.
40-15. Seattle upset the New York Jets across the lot over at Shea Stadium. Those of you who watched that upset, welcome to the finals of the U.S. Open. Jimmy Connors.
40-30.
Double fault number 4. Connors up 2-1, leads 4-love in the 4th.
At this stage, I wonder if he knows his toe hurts him. You know, when you're so excited, you got those 2 service breaks. Just hold it all together, and he'll have his 5th Open title. Singles.
Lendl will serve at love 5 in the 4th.
15-love.
Again, for those of you who might have joined us late, Connors won the 1st set, Lendl the 2nd on the tiebreaker. Connors won the 3rd set 7-5, and he's up 5-love in the 4th.
And just served his 14th ace. Very poor footwork there. He didn't get sideways at all. The feet didn't move.
What about his mental attitude there?
I don't like it. I mean, it looks like he's sort of thrown in a sponge.
You mentioned earlier he had a little injury in his groin.
On his hip, really.
In his hip. observed anything of that at all in his court mobility.
Let's talk about Connors, the job he's done.
Unbelievable.
He's just staying on top of things. You know his foot's hurting. He wants this badly.
Well, for those people who just tuned in, he also had to leave the court during the match with an attack of diarrhea.
30
You could smell blood.
He was coming for it.
And this crowd will go crazy. They love him here. He said he loves them.
Loves to play here. Shooting for his 5th Open championship.
Some slick effort. Championship point for Jimmy Connors.
Deuce.
Deuce.
Lendl. Deuce.
All Jimmy had to do was make it because Ivan was just standing in the middle of the court. Wasn't really bent down and prepared to move in either direction. I think he's out of gas too. His legs are just quit on him.
He looks tired.
Sensational return. Take another look. Right down the middle. Connors dives out, both feet off the ground. You see Lendl hardly got inside. He didn't get halfway to the service line and made no effort because it was by him so quickly.
No way he expected that ball to come back.
Right. Deuce.
Advantage, Lendl.
Little casual, Jim.
No time to get careless.
Oh, he made another great return, didn't he?
Whoa. Deuce.
The way he comes, Connors comes into that backhand and he bends his knees and he stays down until he's actually finished the hit of the ball. I think he does that as well as anyone I've ever seen.
It's the 16th ace.
What have we got on Lendl's serving percentage? Is he still around the late 30s? Very low.
Deuce.
43%, up a little bit. You wonder what's going through Ivan's mind. I mean, you know, there are people who have gotten out of love 5 situations before.
Not too many.
I remember Orantes against Vilas
Never
at
forget
Forest Hills.
One more point.
One more. Here's another look.
Connors.
Connors, both feet off the ground. Here he goes now. Racket ready early. Nails it with topspin. And it's match point for the second time in this game. Fourth ace in this game for Lendl.
It's deuce.
Lendl has the advantage. But it's not championship point. They call it advantage Lendl.
Deuce.
Lendl misses and looks over at his coach. At feedback, his coach isn't going to help him. He's got to get out and do it himself. Get hustling. You can't get in 3 feet inside that service or baseline and half volley returns and expect to win.
We're back at deuce.
Advantage Lendl.
Jimmy get up to this one, sore foot and all, over the top on the ever go after this one, and he makes a suicide try here. He's got not one hope. Bounced it to the net, and it's deuce.
Connors wants this game bad. 5-love, he could have let that one go probably.
Third match point.
Advantage Connors.
In this game for Connors.
60 minutes coming up after tennis. Advantage Connors. Tough.
See if Jimmy tries to take it early. Will he come in?
Connors successfully defends his U.S. Open championship. 6-love in the fourth. Sore foot, sore toe and all.
Really deserves a lot of credit. The courage, the determination, the guts, the ability. And he produces when the chips are down. Here it is again. Stepping in on the second serve. This is match point. Watch his reaction now. He knows it's good. Here I am, folks. 5th time.
Jimmy Connors, the champion. Congratulations from all of us, as well as everybody who watched.